When you get married, you don't naman really get to know what's in store for you. Like me, I never thought that I would be mentally unstable at some point, and it happened after my second
I
child.
read about that.
And same, it was the most difficult, painful time of our marriage. I regret so much of what I said, what I did. I regret causing her so much harm.
Sabi ko, kaya kami piano para kapatungan ng mga susi ng kotse, ng iPad, ng Pokemon cards. Pag try ko pang malinis, magkakagalit lang kami apat. Sige na, huwag na. Akala ng tao na, naka-marry
15
si...
years
Yeah.
of pure bliss.
And then also like, Rika married the pastor, so they must not have any problems.
Exactly.
Diba? Parang, ay, hindi po ganun yun.
At bago tayo magpatuloy, mag-subscribe naman kayo, paki-click ito, mag-like na rin, at kung may suggestion kayo ng kausapang reel with Luchi, put it down in the comment section and we'll do our level best to get it for you.
Finances. How did you deal with finances? I mean,
Well,
was there a meeting of minds?
Well, here's the thing.
Tawang-tawa ako sa finances.
That was one of our biggest contention points.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
So, very different kasi yung personalities namin in that area and experience.
Oh, how?
So, there's Rika, who started working from 13 years old.
So, ang dami ng ipon.
And over
Or
time,
like,
siya yung support sa family niya. So she was trained in every peso matters.
Every peso matters.
Every
Every
job.
minute matters. Like, if there's a minute there in your life that has to be paid. Ganon yung...
Why will I give this for free, diba?
Nakawalan tayo ng pera pag tumutunga nga tayo. Ganon.
No. So my diligence, my hard work, which is amazing. Ako naman, ministry was my first job. And my job in ministry was not motivated by income.
Dapat lang.
Well, yeah, tama naman.
Dapat lang.
But to what
Tama
unhealthy
yun,
level
dapat
na?
lang.
To what unhealthy level? Mahihiya ka sa church, hindi ka mahiya sa pamilya mo.
Like one time, umuwi siya sa bahay namin. Parang early years namin as a married couple na, hey, somebody gave us money. Parang sabi ko, oy, wow, may nagbigay ng pera sa
Finally, kasi sobrang kapos yung inuuwi mo every month. Oo.
So may nagbigay. Tapos sabi niya, ay, somebody gave us money. And you know what? I gave it to somebody else who needs it. Parang ako, di ko alam nakadaan. Nabigay mo, sige. Dahil nating babayaran, pero nabigay mo sa mga nangangailangan, okay. Parang gano'n. Eh, yun pa naman yung time na nag-decide kami na, as we get married, lie-low talaga ako sa career ko.
She wanted
And
to finish
I
her
will-
studies kasi.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I will let him talaga support everything. We really had to be very, very strict about our finances.
But the other part, so yeah, the positive side is I was more generous, open-handed.
Yeah.
The negative part was I was also mas magastos kaysa sa kanya. And she has the budget, she has the envelopes, and ako parang, okay lang yan.
Hindi siya marunong yung...
Grabe, sa kanya yung money out.
Oo,
Yeah.
ganon.
Very little in, tapos very much out, di ba? Whether give to the poor or let's eat somewhere nice. Parang ganun, ano naman?
Oh, that must have been hard for you. I mean, considering
Oh, yeah.
where you came from.
Yeah, very, very hard.
Nag-away ba kayo?
Of course. A lot of fights about it. And sometimes, di ba, when you fight, lalo na when the relationship is immature, it becomes personal attacks. I didn't understand was how deep an emotional concern this was for her. Na for her, look, the more I see you spend this way, you're eroding my trust in you. Diba? We started with so much, I have so much trust in you, now it's getting less and less because of the way you're spending our money. Ako naman parang, grabe, kala mo naman, lasenggo ako. Kala mo naman, di ba, babaero ako. Like, of course, the drama.
Yeah.
And then when you take her concerns seriously, which we did, so I said, okay, fine, we'll live under a budget. At that time, we were living in a condo in Eastwood. Gusto yung mga mamahaling restaurant dito sa may Eastwood Mall. Tapos City Walk, medyo mas mura. Tapos dito yung mga turo-turo.
May
Parang ganun.
strata, ha?
No, yung ano siya eh, pang mga working people
Yung
kasi.
mga nagtatrabaho doon.
Nagtatrabaho
Oo.
na parang you
Ito
get
yung mga nagde-date.
super
Ito yung mga nagtatrabaho doon.
affordable food, ganon.
Yeah.
So we just had to agree. We can only eat here for now. For the next few years, this is the only place
Talaga.
we will eat. And I was so embarrassed at first because I'm thinking, I need to be giving her better things. But you know what? As we ate in those karinderias, yung mga turo-turo na yan, kinikilig siya. Like, she would be like,
Mas secure kasi ako.
Oo.
Na yung kumakain kami ng tama lang sa budget namin.
Hindi ka nahihiya na nakikilala ka ng tao. Sabi ka kumakain
Hindi
dito.
talaga,
She's
hindi
not
ko rin
like
nga maintindihan ba't di nga ako. Kahit na nagtatama raw ako, ang dami talagang parang, ay, parang artista ba yun? Ganyan. So, parang, ako nga yun, gano'n. Hindi talaga ako nahihiya na kahit sabihin pa nila, naghihirap na yan or whatever. Kasi parang sa
kahanga-hanga.
ito yung
It
choice
is.
namin eh.
And not once did I ever feel pressure from her in that area. More of the irresponsibility lang talaga. Basta if we're living within our means, we're able to have
Yes.
savings and we're able
It's
to...
very important for me
Okay na
that
ako
you
doon.
know
Oo.
how to live within your means.
Anyway, this is yung the part about you na hindi ka nahihiya and you not having to worry about that.
Yeah.
No? It's an object lesson for many young couples now.
Well, she's a gift, for sure.
Yes. Kasi parang marami yung gano'n eh, yung parang, keeping up with the Joneses.
Yes.
Trying to look like, okay kami, we can afford this.
Right.
Oh,
Lalo na ngayon, I mean, like
Yeah.
in the age of Instagram, like you see everyone who's having this and who's having that.
Yes.
Parang, I will not naman say na hindi ako na-affect kasi pag nakikita ko yung mga nandun, parang, ayun, sana may ganyan din ako.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, I don't know, I guess siguro kasi at a very young age, na-reach ko rin yung stature na parang, I know what it feels like to have a lot and how it is to be like so celebrated by a lot of people. And it didn't make me like happy or into like a whole person. If anything, it made me feel very empty pa. So, wala na akong trust sa ganon.
Yeah.
Na if you get things that you like, it's going to be a very happy life.
Wow. What about raising children? Was that something you were also prepared to do when you got into this? Did you
I
have
don't think anyone-
different parenting styles? Did you
No matter how
magkaiba ba?
many workshops, courses, whatever, you take on marriage and having children, I don't think that's enough.
I'm grateful that I'm married to her. That we're parenting. Like you always say, diba, love, na choose who you're gonna marry because that person will raise your kids.
Yeah,
So, you gotta think about
when
that.
I was falling in love with him, one of the things that I had to really look into was how was this guy going to be as a father kaya? Kasi pag pumili ka ng asawa, pumipili ka rin ng parent ng mga anak mo, di ba? So, hindi lang ikaw yung apektado. Yung mga anak mo din sa pag mali yung chinus mo, kawawa rin yung mga anak mo. Baka ikaw mag-endure ka, pero kawawa naman yung mga anak mo, di ba? So, one of the most convincing factors for me na ito na nga siguro talaga is, ang galing niya talaga sa kids.
Talaga.
Sobrang galing niya noon. Youth ministry siya eh.
Oh, that's
so,
right.
sabi ko, magiging mabuting tatay to. Maganda talagang maipamana sa mga magiging anak ko.
Correct.
Honestly, a lot of my own dysfunctions came up when we had kids na.
What are those? Like what?
Impatience, easily irritated.
Yeah. Talaga? Only after you had kids?
Yeah,
Siguro hindi ko siya
hindi siya
dinidil.
sumisigaw nung mag-asawa lang kami. Nung naging tatay na siya, hala, sumisigaw na siya. Ganun. Oo.
Oo. Ano ba? Ingay niyo lahat. Parang gano'n. Doon lumabas. Parang, nangyari sa akin. But when you see yourself hurting your loved ones, yun yung, oh no, what am I doing? This is bad.
Yeah.
You know? And she's a tough girl, so kaya pa eh. But our sons,
Yeah.
very small.
Kids
Tapos,
kasi will always be very soft-hearted towards their parents. So
I noticed so much
it's so
of-
easy to crush them.
so much of my motivating had a sting of shame. Papa, pwede ba ako manood ng videos kaysa magbasa? Sige, huwag ka naman na magbasa. Eh, naman gusto mo, di ba? Yung mga ganong pahabol. And I was like, where is this coming from? You know, where is all this shame-based motivation coming from? Deep soul searching. My dad rin naman kasi was a work in progress when we were younger. Siya rin naman umaamin, no? Na harsh ka sa ibang tao. At sa tingin ko, dahil harsh ka sa sarili mo. At alam kong harsh ka sa sarili mo kasi naging harsh ako sa'yo.
So, napansin niya sa'yo yun.
Yes, and I actually love what he said. He said to me, I cannot take that back anymore. Kasi 18 years old ka na. So, we both need to look to God to change us para hindi na natin mapasa ito.
Yeah. For us as parents, it's very important na we just keep it real. Di ba, you're going to see your parents as like, they are the standard. Parang ganon. We try as much as possible, as early as now, to tell them that don't make us the standard of your life because we also are, you know, pretty much wrong in a lot of things, and you can push back when you feel like mama and papa are wrong, ganon. Sinasabi namin, kino-communicate namin sa kanila kasi nga natatakot kaming lumaki sila na iniisip nila na yung nanay at tatay naman namin never nagkakamali yan eh. Kaya kailangan sundan namin. Eh, kitang-kita namin yung reality na hindi kami tama.
At galing rin
All
kasi
the
tayo.
time.
Galing rin kasi tayo sa masyadong harsh. Like the first 5 years.
The way we
Kung
saw
may-
parenting was also very different.
Kung may good cup, bad cup. Di ba madalas sa mga parents may good cup, bad
Right,
cup.
right.
Bad cup, bad cup.
Grabe kami, bad cup
Parang,
kami.
Sobrang,
Exactly.
Tapos hindi pa nasundan agad ng kapatid niya for 5 years. So, siya lang.
Napuruhan si
Oo.
Pierre.
Yeah. So this is why we keep saying sorry. To this day, we normalize saying sorry to our children.
I think that's so crucial that parents also be humble
Yeah.
and to ask for forgiveness.
I agree.
Diba? That is so basic, but that's so hard to do.
Yes.
Well, di ba, yung choice na lang is, anong mas mahirap? Na magsasorry ka or na ayaw ka nang kausap ng anak mo?
Yeah.
Eh, magsasorry na lang ako.
Yeah.
Dinaanan din talaga namin yung, and we're very honest about it, na nag-isip na rin kami na, ako personally, naisip ko, so ano ba talaga, maghihiwalay na lang ba yung sagot?
Really?
Yeah, we had
You
that.
got to that point?
Yes.
Wow.
I mean,
9
'cause
years in, yeah.
if you think about it also, like, when you get married, you don't naman really get to know what's in store for you. Like me, I never thought that I would be mentally unstable at some point. And it happened after my second
Yeah, I
child.
read about that. Yung sa...
Yeah, hindi ako okay kasi nagkasabay-sabay. I was going through postpartum. At the very same time, perfect storm talaga, namatay tatay ko. So para kung, alam mo yung hormones mo hindi pa stable, and then hindi mo rin maintindihan yung feelings mo na namatayan ka ng magulang, ganon. Parang nawala na talaga ako sa sarili. And at that time, nisip ko parang, it's so hard to not be able to carry my own weight in this home because I'm just not there.
Kasi
like
she's a
before.
worker eh. Diba? So she was used to, may sakit, may baby, may
Magawa.
bagyo,
Kaya
I'll
yan.
be there.
Oo.
And for the first time, in our
I
9th
couldn't.
year, she couldn't na.
I couldn't.
And then the bad, to add to that perfect storm with me, I was being such a workaholic na. There was, in fact, at its worst, there was this one event that I had to be at church. She had an infection.
And
She had to go to the ER.
after birth to.
Oo.
And then the OB said, please rush to the ER. I need to see you and I need you to be seen by others also.
So I brought to the ER with our baby at the time, like 3-month-old baby.
Newborn.
Oo. And then I said, oh, you grab home na lang. No? I need to be at the end.
Oh, wow.
Can you imagine
Ouch.
the thought process?
Yeah.
And what am I communicating to her?
Yeah.
Diba? And she's dealing with all of the postpartum depression hormones and the loss of her dad. So our marriage was really in trouble then. And we're grateful for the pastor couple who we talked to about this. Ang sama pa ng ugali ko noon, dinala ko siya doon, sabi ko, can you fix her? Parang
Really?
Oh my.
Yeah, because I was so frustrated na, ewan ko na lang ano sasabihin ko sa babaeng to. I'm just making one comment, iiyak na naman siya. Parang gano'n. And then she was just in tears the whole time. She said, I don't know myself. I don't understand.
And it was a very good lesson for me. Hindi mo kaya lahat. hindi mo dapat hawakan lahat.
Kasi kung kaya natin, di na natin kailangan si Lord.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And why would I mean, like, I wouldn't find my rest in Him na. Kasi parang, wala eh. Lagi ka lang gumagalaw eh.
Yeah.
Kinakaya mo lahat.
Then the pastor said to me, "Why do you think she needs to be fixed?" And I said, "Well, isn't it obvious? She's so emotional and so unstable, ganyan, ganyan." And he said, do you think God is not okay with her being like this? Or do you think God has room for her to be like this? I mean, namatayan siya ng tatay. O, yung baby. Tapos hindi ko matanggap yon. Tapos sabi niya sa akin, ano ba tingin mo sa tingin ng Diyos sa'yo? Diba? Why are you so harsh on yourself? Ay na naman tayo sa theme na harsh on yourself. So, sobra ako na-convict nun na ako pala yung mali. And why do I think that there's something wrong? People are allowed to not be okay. People are allowed to go through difficult times. And does God respond to our difficult times with anger, irritation, diba? Uy, ba't di ka nag-volunteer, diba? Ba't ka nag-absent? Or is He there with you in that time? And same, it was the most difficult, painful time of our marriage. I regret so much of what I said, what I did. I regret causing her so much harm. But at the same time, God used it for good.
Yeah.
That's when she learned to have a relationship with God na hindi siya performer. Kasi I'm useless eh. But He still loves me.
Yeah.
Kahit nga nagagalit ako sa
It was
kanya.
so hard for me to be a useless person. I think that was the bottom line for me na, really, there's no use for me, for my children, for my husband. Wala talaga, Lord.
But still loved. Now we ask God to accompany us on the basic things.
Yeah.
And like we've been saying so far, diba? God's met us in family times of Christmas devotions, but He's also met us in terrible times, in times of mental health, in times when we're about to fight. For example, in sex, diba? That's a very quote-unquote secular concept in some people's
Very
mind.
worldly.
Oo. But sex was made by God, diba? As a gift for marriage, as something to enjoy between husband and wife. And I'm just really grateful. Like 15 years in, our intimate life, better than ever. Because
Did you hear
Better
that?
than ever.
no, it's not.
Aloka.
Napaka-enviable naman.
It is, no.
Diba?
No, we fought about this a lot. So maraming blood, toil, tears, sweat yun. But we just got honest with each other, and it's the love of God that creates that space where you can be honest.
Yes.
Where she would say to me, ikaw kasi, konting lambing lang, parang gusto mo na mag-sex agad eh. Yun lang naman nakikita mo sa
And
akin.
it's also very sensitive for me, coming from the past that I had.
Yeah.
So it had a lot to do
Very
with
objectifying.
body,
Oo.
everything, like to be an object and all. That carried over. That was one of the things that carried over in our marriage. So, hindi siya yung parang, siguro inisip na sexy star to equals magiging okay yung sex life nila, di ba? Parang,
It
hindi.
actually created hang-ups kasi it was associated with money, with work, with performance, with evaluation. Ako naman, I was insensitive to that, but I also have needs. So I explained to her na as a man, we feel emotional connection through physical intimacy. So being rejected for sex is not just not getting the emotional release you want, it feels like an emotional rejection. Even though I know here that that's not true, that's how it feels. So we found ways to talk, where she'll say, not now, can we do it another time? So the mere fact na nasa listahan na rin yan, na gawin natin, hindi lang ako lang humihingi, mas such a big deal na for me emotionally. That doesn't sound very spiritual. That doesn't sound like a...
Yeah. But I think the longer that you stay together, the more you will also say that, this cannot be possible without God.
Yeah.
Kasi the older that you get, akala mo ba kumukonti problema nyo? Hindi eh.
Talaga.
May
You
madadagdag
could
kasi
tell us.
buhay tayo. At isa pa, ang dami pa rin natin kailangang ayusin sa puso natin. It's like two really broken people nga kasi who come together and are only made whole by God by having God in between, di ba? In the middle of your marriage. Kasi kung wala yon, you're just two broken people. And it's very hard to maybe you can to stay together without God, but I really cannot imagine because then there's no eye to see that, we are progressing.
Yeah.
It's very hard kasi when you're married and ang dami yung problema, to see and celebrate progress. Kasi akala mo lang talaga panay siya problema. Pero kung may naaayos sa puso mo, may wins kayo eh. Kasi kami, kahit na tanungin mo ko, gusto ko bang daanan yung dinaanan namin ulit?
Of course not.
Siyempre, hindi. Pero nagpapasalamat ako na kahit ganun yung pinagdaanan namin, yung progress naman sa character namin, sa ability namin to stay together and work together and change, di ba? Yun yung win namin.
What do you have to say to young couples who would rather stay together but not get married? Dami na yan eh.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just living together and now it's really, it's a more practical thing.
Yeah.
It's parang it's not even a rebelliousness, no.
Yeah.
It's
Very
just
pragmatic.
Matter of
diba?
fact, ganun.
Parang, ang corny nito, pero marriage is just a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Parang sa
True,
kanila,
true.
no?
Oo.
But in heart
They
and
say
soul, they claim that they're really
It's the
already
same
married
thing,
anyway.
I can understand the desire to be practical and pragmatic. For me, kasi more than making a case for the institution of marriage, for us kasi marriage is a submission to God. It's a desire to do things God's way, the way God designed. Saying, Lord, I'm going to love this woman. And I need you to help me do that. And I want you to hold me to that. And by doing that, that's a world of a difference from me saying, I'll do it by my own strength, or her saying, she will do it on her own strength. If that's all we had, I don't think we would still be here together now. I think we might have called it quits back then.
Honestly, kahit na magpakasal ka, wala rin siyang effect sa'yo if you really don't believe everything that marriage has to offer for the two of you.
Yeah, a wedding won't change that.
It's just a piece of paper. But if you're willing to really embrace everything that marriage has for two people who are broken like this, to come together and actually see it through, na ilang taon, masabi mo na, grabe, hindi tayo naghiwalay sa lahat ng yun, then you'll really love marriage. Kasi you let it do its work to the two of you. Pero kung tatratuhin mo lang siya na, kasi piece of paper lang din talaga siya sa'yo. So I guess it really begins with, how do you view marriage? And when we talk to other couples, that's our first question to them. What is marriage for you? Because when you were growing up, I'm pretty sure you saw your parents in some way.
Yeah.
Like you saw marriage in a, some kind of light. What was that for you? Because it begins there. And if it's like a wrong kind of seeing marriage, parang dun ka rin maaring mali mo siya matake para sa sarili mo, and you won't get every good thing that it has to offer for the two of you.
Yeah. Ganda.
Galang din po
Stay downstairs, we're shooting.
Stay ko na with, downstairs. Well, we'll be done soon. Go lang downstairs. We'll call you over.
How did you write this? You first draft.
Aside the chapters.
11 years. 11 words for 11 years.
Oh, I see.
We have 5. I took 6 words, you took 5.
O, di ba? Very metaphorical of marriage also.